Okay, so divine rising to you, and shout out to the Boya mic. That's what we're using, the VY M1. So, we elevating with the content, and yeah, divine rising again to you. So, welcome back to our company is Atlanta Professional Mobile Notary Services, and we're actually based in Gwinnett County, Georgia. But we serve the metro Atlanta area. And so, yeah, we've been all over the state of Georgia, notarizing documents. And today what we're talking about is the importance of E&O insurance. Okay. So we're also going to discuss, I'm going to create another video about the importance of educating yourselves on the forms that you're notarizing on a regular basis. And it's really going to help you prevent errors and omissions, and just better serve your clients and be more efficient in your notary appointments. And so errors and omissions insurance, E&O insurance, what it does is, as notaries, so as a notary myself, I've had to go and notarize documents that were previously notarized by someone else, but they were notarized improperly. And so the client had to reprint these documents after going through the process of submitting them, and typically having to wait some time to get it back from whatever agency or person that they submitted them to, with the disappointment to know that they have to go through the process again. And so I've seen it time and time again. And, it's not to insult anyone. Sometimes errors do occur. And even as a notary yourself, that's why it's nice if you, especially if you're new, if clients send you documents and you print them off, to print off multiple copies and read the instructions. A lot of documents will come with instructions. And when they come with instructions, you want to read the instructions and be very well versed on them so that you can properly notarize the documents, as well as the client themselves can look them over, get a great understanding of the documents and the instructions themselves, so that when they appear in front of you, and as well as having witnesses, you can have a successful signing and have it one and done and knock it out. And so an example of being familiar with documents is, for instance, a power of attorney. The first client today was having a power of attorney notarized. And so typically when you ask, what documents do you need notarized, and they give you, they tell you what the document is, if you're familiar with it, then you can go ahead and say, typically powers of attorneys require witnesses, typically 1 and 2 witnesses. Does your document require a witness? And then, the person can look and see if that's the case. And then you can ask, do you have witnesses with you? And like wills and deeds, for instance, wills, let me speak just specifically on wills. Wills typically require 2 witnesses, and they have to be impartial. So it can't be someone typically that's named in the document, and someone that that has a vested interest to gain something from this document being notarized. So someone being impartial, someone is not related to you, and someone who's not identified in the document. Okay. And so, be that as it may, going back to errors and omissions, if you notarize a document and it hasn't been properly witnessed, then, or you improperly notarize a document, which is an example, is if it requires a witness and a witness has not appeared and signed that document, then, it's improperly notarized. And so when it goes to whoever's going to execute that document, it's possible that they'll send it back and say, hey, this hasn't been notarized properly. And, if no one catches it, and then it's time for that person to actually, say someone, a father or mother becomes deceased, and now the next of kin is who's named in the will is going to probate that will. And because you didn't properly notarize it, or for instance, real estate documents. So typically, like certain real estate documents in Gwinnett County, like a purchase, of real estate requires 2 witnesses. Now we're going to do another video on serving as a witness and a notary. Typically is not something that people suggest, but in Gwinnett County, if you read, there are instructions that come with most of these documents, and it will tell you that the notary can serve as a witness and the notary, and because those documents require 2 witnesses. So again, I always err on the side of caution, and if it's provided in the instructions that I can serve as both, then I will. And shout out to the good folks at Viva. I mentioned this on the last video, but was recently went to the Viva Heirs Property Fund Summit in Washington, D.C. about 2 weeks ago now. And I was blessed with a nice bag of gifts. And so I got this great, I guess you can call it an Nalgene water bottle. And it was amazing. And of course, since we're in forestry and agriculture, it looks like a piece of wood with a cap on it. And so it's just super cool. Probably the coolest water bottle I have in my collection, because I'm an avid, I work out avidly, and so I appreciate it. And that's again why we started the business, was to help people with estate planning and heirs property. And so, we help people with a lot of estate planning and really life events in their life. And that's why, again, it's so important to have heirs and omissions insurance. Number one, it's really important to educate yourself as a notary, because you want to help people execute whatever documents and estate planning or things with their family or real estate, whatever it is they're managing. You want to do it. You want to be able to help them execute those documents successfully. And so heirs and omissions insurance, of course, God forbid that you make a mistake and then you end up, for instance, if you help someone with a deed and that deed is recorded and it's not caught that you made an error, that title could be defective because you missed the date on the document, or you didn't have it witnessed and a witness was required. Maybe in your county or in your state, you can serve as a witness and a notary, but you missed that it required a second witness. And of course, your client, you want them to be familiar with the documents and read over it and know that, know what the requirements of the document being executed are. But that's why it's so important for you as a notary to be, familiar with these things, so that, you catch these things. You don't have to read every single detail inside of that document, but the pertinent things to you serving as a notary, it does behoove you to be aware of those things and to be conscious of them and make sure that they are properly executed so that you don't have any liability. Because if a title is defective and it goes to court, or if, lawyers are looking to make sure that, the people who signed the document actually did appear in front of you, you want to make sure that you're abiding by your state laws. And in doing so, you have the protection of the laws because you're not being negligent. That's not to say that you won't end up in court, but at least if you have heirs and omissions insurance, it will help with court costs. It will help cover you with lawyer fees and just things that are associated with, being potentially having to go to court, and in case of any, issues that occur pertaining to your notarization of a document. And so when I speak to a lot of notaries, because again, at the Atlanta, even this is really education. And so this is part of the Atlanta Notary Academy that, we are founders of. And in doing so, I talk to, we educate a lot of notaries that have been, notaries longer than us, because again, I'm getting my PhD in public policy. And in doing so, I'm passionate about understanding public policy. And so avid readers in notarial laws, because that allows us to elevate and better serve as notaries and serve our clients and serve the community. And again, that's the sole purpose of our company. And so in doing so, A lot of notaries aren't as well versed on notarial laws. I see notaries that don't have notarial journals, even though it's not always required in your state. It's highly recommended. And again, it records each notarial act. So if you ever do have to go to court, or if an agency or person ever reaches out to you, you can attest and say, hey, I have proof that this person personally appeared in front of me on this day and this time. Here's the information for their ID, and they signed this book. So errors and omissions insurance is really important to have. We got ours through the National Notary Association, and for $100,000, it's $120 a year. So I really encourage you to get it. Have a blessed day.